absolute best.
Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins. By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Thursday, June 27th. Sorry, it took me a second to remember. It's been a whirlwind of a week, man.
Guys,
What are you giggling about?
we just freaking did it.
I'll be honest. This is no hate. I promise. I feel like it sounds like a hater comment. I still cannot believe we won a national championship.
Yeah, it's unreal. The whole feels like 98 thing. Yeah, it's still cool, but it really feels like 24 right now.
I like that. I will say, even though we've won one, I still like the feels like I feel like it's fun to say about this year that it feels like 98.
Yeah. Well,
I like
it is that hot outside right now.
It's miserable.
But people say oh, if you do this one drug, you won't become addicted to it.
I'm addicted to national championships.
It only took one, and I am officially addicted to winning national championships.
Don't let me do crack.
Yeah.
It's so cool too. Just that, and shout out to the baseball team, not just for doing that, but for the time and just courtesy they give us. It's so cool to have. I mean, in this short the run up to Omaha, Cal Stark gives his time, Hunter Inslee gives his time,
Mm-hmm.
and then what about the boy, the dude, Xander freaking Seacrest doing it?
Standing up.
Yeah, Xander Seacrest, man. I mean,
The guy.
I'm not. This isn't a knock on Xander. Again, feels like it sounds like it. I was so nervous for him for more than just a fan.
Yeah.
I've been nervous for players of my team before. That one, he's probably like, these guys think we're closer than we are. I'm like, that felt like your friend you're cheering on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it felt like there was, you just didn't want anything bad to happen. It felt like our child. Yeah, it was, he's done it all year long. Is the thing is especially in the postseason, whereas I think the team, at least it felt like, hey, even though that's our Sunday guy, that's our guy.
Yeah.
Cal Stark's our guy. But yeah, it just felt like it was just right. That was the moment. I mean, we called it the other night. We're like, we hope it gets to that point, and then it gets rained out, and we play on Tuesday. We win a Tuesday game. Didn't get rained out, but it did get to Xander Seacrest, and
in baseball terms, Monday is a midweek.
Yeah. And you've been in Omaha for 2 weeks. Your weeks have run together. You don't know what day it is.
Yeah, might as well be a midweek all the time. But man, so cool, so much fun to watch. Great. Yes, Tennessee had. We talked about it. Tony Vitello mentioned it. I think Tony Vitello listens to this podcast.
Sure.
You had some things go the right way. You had the balls bounce the right way. You got some calls that maybe you don't normally get, maybe you shouldn't have gotten. You all can decide how you want to phrase that. But the fact of the matter is, you also still have to capitalize on those opportunities. You still have to make the breaks when they come your way. And Tennessee did that. Tennessee had guys that had national championship-like performances. Only a national champion can win those. Dylan Dreiling, stand up. Hunter Inslee slide. That if Tennessee somehow loses that game, that slide is still remembered because it was that incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
sure, it's in a much darker light, but it's still remembered.
Yeah, I mean, like that. This whole season is kind of summed up like Christian Moore turning to the dugout. Let's fight. Let's fight. Like this team never flinched at all. The entire. I mean, they lost their first game of the season. They lost their first SEC game. They lost their first game in Hoover. They were down runs in the ninth inning against Florida State. It looked like it was over, and they came back and won it. They lost their first game in the final series, came back and won the whole thing. So, I mean, this team never flinched. And I think a lot of that has to go to, Tony Vitello gets a lot of credit, but because he brought those guys here, but the veteran leadership throughout the entire season is why Tennessee had that parade the other day.
Yeah. And to hit on the never flinch part, if you're wondering, if you're like, let me think, did they ever flinch? Aaron Combs balked a runner to third in the final inning with one strike to go at that point. Balked a runner to third, scores him home on a wild pitch, and then just doesn't flinch that he turns to Cal Stark and he's like, I don't know how he got to second, and is laughing about it.
Yeah.
Runs him, puts him at home on a wild pitch, and then finishes the guy. Just like in that moment, you're thinking everything could go wrong here. Yeah. Everything could go wrong. Not Aaron Combs. He never thought that, apparently.
Pitchers are so weird.
They're psycho. We've talked about with Ross Kiffin. They're psychopaths.
I mean, Aaron Combs, like balking you have the game time run at the plate and you're laughing on the mound. Like that is incredible.
I do level with Aaron Combs. I haven't watched it again yet. I still am not sure how that guy got to second.
I don't either.
And we don't care. We don't care.
But it was a lot of like this team has been there before. Like Drew Beam pitched well last year when we were in Omaha. Pitched really well in the 2 games that he pitched in Omaha this year. You had Christian Moore and Hunter Inslee and Blake Burke and Kavaris Sears, Dylan Dreiling. Those guys like have been in this situation before. So I think getting to Omaha the way that they did, like it was kind of just like they just like went and did it. It wasn't like, it was difficult. It's a grind, but like they made it look so easy. And then they got there and they still didn't flinch because like they're like, I mean, we're already here. You might as well just go win the damn thing.
And that's another impressive thing. Yes, Tennessee had been to Omaha before. They hadn't played in that series final. But it still felt like the last 2 times they had been in Omaha that maybe the moment wasn't right. Maybe the moment was too big. They didn't. I mean, obviously, if you lose the last game of the season, you didn't win when you had to. Just to give out the old sports mantra there. It just felt like maybe they hadn't quite figured it out. And not necessarily mentally, not necessarily culturally, just putting the right guys in the right situation. Those guys then excelling. Whereas this year, I'm sure we could probably point to some decisions that were made. You can probably point to some performances that weren't. But the fact of the matter is when back was against the wall, Florida State first game is a great example. But then even you look at the last Florida State game. If you look at game 2 and game 3 of the national championship, they had chances to lose those games, and they bowed up and they made plays when they had to. And it's a culture thing. It is a culture thing. They had plenty of times that they could have folded, and they didn't. And it helps to have a lot of talent, sure. But also, you can't say enough about the leaders in the clubhouse that don't back down, that don't shy away from moments. I think it was one really cool thing. Well, there's so many cool things, but I think the 2 guys that were the most fun to watch this past week were Xander and Kirby, which I think are fan favorites. Easy pick.
Sure.
You don't see a lot of the fired up moments. The Kirby one that pops into head is the squat and yell. You don't see a ton of those from Kirby.
It was almost a suck it kind of thing, but it wasn't.
Right. He's a guy that like strike 3 and he usually kind of grins on his way to the dugout. Like, yeah, I do that. That's part of my job. Kind of same thing for Xander. He's got a very kind of cool, calm, collected K-Strat. Like it's very much, yep, business as usual.
Yeah.
To see them see them feel the moment was so much fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, it took us on a ride, and I kind of want to go back a little bit to what you said, to like appreciate the players' time, the way that they handled the parade. Yeah, like all those people are there to celebrate them, but the fact that they are so into like the fan interaction, I think that's what I mean. Yeah, this program, like winning, helped everything.
Yeah.
But the fact that like you feel like you're a part of it,
Right.
like we felt like we were a part of it a little bit. I think that's what makes this whole program so great, and why Tennessee fans have just bought all into it. Yeah, winning helps, sure, but getting like, I mean, we it was like a relief. Like after we won, it was just like, man, this has been, I mean, going on since like February, and I know like there's practice before that, but like you really like as soon as basketball is over, it's just full on SEC baseball, postseason baseball, and now we're here like almost in July, and I never, 7 years ago, I never thought that Tennessee baseball was going to be playing almost into July. It's insane.
And Tony, yeah, I'm sure the trophies are nice and the winning's fun and nice, but at heart, Tony's a Tennessee guy. And if you know anything about Tennessee fans, the day Tennessee football ends, no matter how the season went, no matter what's going on, the day Tennessee football ends, you get the notorious X amount of days until Tennessee football starts. And you just kind of trudge through whatever's in front of you.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I haven't even been keeping track of days. I mean, why would I? There's so much fun right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Vitello said these people aren't going to suffer anymore. They want to get to football season, but let's get them there. March, April, May, and June flew by.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Tennessee baseball for getting us closer to Tennessee football. That's the big winner in my
mind.
Yeah,
and especially for us, like we don't have to make up crap to talk about for months and months on end until football season gets here. So yeah, appreciate them, and also them just like being so good to us.
Yeah, I mean,
has been awesome.
And that's, I think, too. Let's stop, and you know what? We're gonna do a standing ovation here in a moment. Big shout out to Chad Zerker, a guy that. We were really just starting up when we got in touch with him, and kind of helped us just get in plugged in, helped us kind of forge some of those bridges, and that was really cool. That cool of him. Obviously, he doesn't have to. He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
He's obviously given his time to the show to come on, and if you don't know, he is leaving his position as director of baseball operations. Great article by Ben McKee, by the way, kind of highlighting all that. And then this past week, and that culminating in a championship, he's a big part of what goes on there.
Mm-hmm.
He is in a very much thankless role. What's really cool, though, is that this is just how crazy Tennessee fans are. So many Tennessee fans know exactly who Chad Zerker is, the director of baseball operations.
Oh, yeah.
And my favorite part is I saw like maybe 2 tweets about it, but there were people like melting down. They were like, oh, we win something and this happens about the director of baseball operations leaving. And I'm like, that's awesome. I love that. And Chad's a big part of that program being successful. Just like, and that's another cool thing about Tony Vitello in this program. So many people, it is a full on team effort.
Yeah.
There are so many cogs in that machine. You obviously have Josh Elander, Frank Anderson, but you have the Kyle Serranos. You have Richard Jackson. You have so many guys. Sean Barrows. Like you have so
Luke
many
Bonfield.
people, that are making this thing tick. That give so much time, effort, and energy into making this happen, and it culminated in a championship. And so that's really cool to see. I say all that to say thank you, Chad, for not just your time on this show, but for your dedication to Tennessee athletics, Tennessee baseball. I know that won't stop now in your new role, but we do want to say a special thank you, and we want to give you a standing O. So great dude,
friend of the pod,
great dude, and excited to see kind of what the future brings for him. And I know I think that's a cool thing too about this program, and I'm sorry, Landon, to just tangent here. My last comment on this program, as important as those guys are, those assistants, the supporting roles. I think another thing about this culture is it very much is the next man up. Like, you don't have to sweat it. And that's not just players on the field. I think that is was very evident in when a guy like Ross Kivett left. Just next man up mentality. Ross Kivett, great baseball coach, great dude. But I think that's big, that it's like this program is bigger than one person.
Yeah. Well, and like you saw that in the season. Like, Tennessee could have just cried and complained about losing AJ Russell and packed it in, especially that pitching staff. But then you don't get probably Xander and his run that he had in the postseason. So, it was very much next man up. And, that's kind of how it's been since Tony's been here. It's like, let's not sit and cry about the past and what could have happened and what didn't happen. Let's rebuild and reload.
Yeah.
And I didn't think a team could really match what that 2022 team did or was. And then you sit here and you built a team to win a national championship. You just didn't build a team to be really good and competitive in the SEC. You built a team to win a national championship. Drew Beam, Semo, Blake Burke, that recruiting class was phenomenal. I mean, they committed, years ago, like before they were even, probably when they were sophomore and junior in high school. Like, there was a vision a long time ago to see this kind of take its place. And then you have to have stuff fall in place. You have to have guys develop, like, Kirby and Xander and guys like that, Hunter Inslee. Kavaris Tears was a redshirt that 2022 year.
Yeah.
Didn't have a position. All he did was go out there and throw catch with Jordan Beck. And then look what he did in Omaha. So, there was just so many Cal Stark was a guy that was probably recruited over quite a bit and came in and, he was phenomenal and was a huge part in this team, and not just on the field, but a leadership standpoint as well, where they're like, that's who we need back there.
And I think Omaha is a good microcosm of this team, their mentality, the next man up mentality. You have, who would have, if you had told me Dylan Drawling was the MVP of the College World Series, I probably would have laughed at you. I don't know about laughed. I would have been like, yeah, sure, he's going to play really good, but MVP, probably not. You have that happen. Dylan Drawling just go nuclear. You have Hunter Inslee who goes down. Kavaris Tears slide right over. You have some big moments from Reese Chapman that played a key role in that. You have Dalton Bargo come in and play well there when he's called upon. You have Cal Stark hit a bomb to win Tennessee, or to help Tennessee win a national championship. You have Ariel Antigua come in late in the game, hadn't played all game. Sure, the throw doesn't happen, but to even make that guy run hard on a ball hit like that, impressive play. Like, he was there to make it. He would have made a play given the opportunity.
Gosh, he's going to be here for 2 more years.
It's nuts. He's stud. But yeah, to come in that moment and just even glove, I get a glove on that. It's insane. But so many big moments from so many guys. And I think that's a good microcosm of what you just talked about. You can see it in just really that last series.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, the whole fight and the willpower and yeah, just kind of everything falling into place. Like, you need things to go your way, and that helps you win a national championship, but you got to get there first. And Tennessee there was a lot of people on Twitter after that Alabama series like, oh, well, this team just doesn't have it. And then I saw a tweet that I actually thought was pretty funny, was especially, it's really funny now, where after the first game against A&M in Omaha, they're like, oh, cute season. Glad they waited till I spent $1,200 to suck. So it's a lot, and it's a roller coaster. But again, kind of going back to it, is like, we get to be on that roller coaster, and it was so much fun.
It ends up being fun when the roller coaster stays on track. You turn around, you're like, that's a good ride.
Yeah.
It's when you're hanging upside down, stuck, and there's a cerebral fire department bucket asking if you need to change your diaper. That's when it really sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're blessed that was not the case in this scenario. What a fun season. What a fun series. I saw some Florida and LSU butthurt fans, and I don't want to say this for all Florida fans. This stands for them, not all LSU fans. Some of you LSU fans are really fun, but the butthurt ones pretending that last year's series was more fun than this one. I'm not here to compete. I'm just telling you, you're an idiot. That series was awesome. It had everything. Mm-hmm. It had everything so much that it carried over into Tuesday with old Schloss peacing out, going to hang out with his friend in the cemetery before heading to Austin. I mean, it had everything.
Yeah, poor A&M losing a College World Series, losing the Jello Shot Challenge, losing their coach, and then losing like every single one of their players. I saw a tweet today. It was like you could fill a whole team with Texas A&M players in the transfer portal right now,
and you would.
And be pretty good.
You would probably
yeah. I was about to say probably at least being a super.
Right. Now it's nuts, and that's another thing I did want to mention. I'm glad we kind of started actually talking about the other team. That's another thing that made that series so much fun. That Texas A&M team. Talk about how many teams can respond like Tennessee did. The Texas A&M is one of them. I mean, talk about never quitting. Just the fight in them, and then just studs all over the field.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday really sucked when Cortez was on the mound. I was like, get him off.
Yeah.
Anytime you saw Oshimbeck come up, you're like, all right. Correct. This was fun.
Yeah.
And hey, listen, I am an idiot. I don't know anything about the game of baseball. I said we wouldn't score again Monday night. Moron. I'm a moron. Hand up. When he came in, I was like, well, it's fun while it lasted. Hope we can play our way on defense out of this one. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
No idiot said that.
And that was the cool thing about him. It was like, you know how good Tennessee's lineup is? They saw him 2 nights ago, and it was like the whole like factor of him just mowing down our lineup. They're like, yeah, well, you got us once, buddy. You ain't doing it again.
Yeah, I think that again, mentality, man. The mentality. And I mean, he's really good. I would have pitched him if I was A&M. It is nice. Again, going back to that 9th inning. You lost Friday, and that sucked. But to make him stand up there and have to throw the ball 47 times at you, that was a win for the series right there.
Yeah.
And if you want to say, Caleb, you're taking moral victories here, look at Monday night. I don't know if that happens, if he's able to get out of there with the amount of pitches what we thought he was going to throw based on what we were doing going into the 9th. I don't think you thought that was going to happen. And I don't know if Monday night goes the way it does, if he's able to throw, especially the way it was looking, much, much less than 46 or 47, whatever it ended up being.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to get there, and you took care of business on Sunday to force a game 3. And, I mean, once you won on Saturday, kind of the way that you won, it was like A&M was probably thinking, and A&M fans for sure, they're like, oh, crap.
Yeah, they're here now. Which, I mean, you saw some fight Friday. Tennessee was within striking distance. Credit to A&M and their defense. Held us off. But they did put themselves back into the ball game. It got a little hairy there for A&M.
Yeah.
Of course, when you have a guy like Oshimbeck on the mound, you feel a lot better. It doesn't feel as hairy. But yeah, they fought their way back into that one too, and then kind of they were able to kind of explode Saturday, and then oh my God, Christian Moore to start Monday night.
Oh,
sorry,
dude.
Sunday. So sorry, I keep saying Friday. You know what I mean? Game 1. Let's start calling them game 1, game 2, game 3, because I'm going to keep messing this up. But to go kick off game 3 with a home run,
as he's done so many times.
Yeah, that's fun, man. That's fun.
Yeah, I mean, he's the best player in the nation, and I'm glad some people out there put him on the first team All-American, because it doesn't matter where you put him, he's a first team All-American. I don't care if Bazana from Oregon State, if you want to put him in there too, cool. But
my favorite part about tennis, one of my favorite parts about Tennessee winning a national championship is that, Tony Vitello, the moment he's not named any of those award winners, he's left off the first team. He wants to say those awards don't matter, but it's hard to say that when you don't win a national championship. The moment you win that national championship, you get the right to say those awards do not matter, because in the grand scheme of things, he pointed to it during that celebration. That's the one that ultimately matters. Yeah,
and I think that's what it just felt like a business trip until you finally won it. Like, yeah, you dogpile to go to Omaha. Yeah, like that is a big deal. But, winning that second game against Florida State to book your ticket to the final series, it was very much just like, Cool. That was a good win.
Which I don't know, man. I guess
Got 2 more.
Fairly normal for baseball, but I'm sure you get some when that team coming out of the losers bracket wins in a close manner. Probably get some more celebrations, but yeah, they took care of business and they didn't need to.
It was very much of like that's exactly what was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Whereas like I feel like in 2021, like you getting there, like that was great. That was awesome. Like you probably weren't supposed to be there. In 2022, you're probably supposed to be there, and then 2023, you definitely were not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
You get there, you win a game. And I feel like it just all those years of experience and getting as close as you can, it kind of got you over the hump. So, I know people are going to debate the 2022 and 2024 who
surely not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like it talent wise, like it's probably difficult to put those two, but I would say 2022 had a big effect on the 2024 team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, no doubt. Just from a leadership standpoint, those guys learn from somebody. But when you talk about, like you said, talents neck and neck, that pitching staff probably a little more stout. Is that the right word? You probably have more like, especially starters. You probably look at them and you're like, yeah, that's the group of starters I'd take. But this team won a national championship.
Yeah,
they did it when they had to. And I love that 2022 team. And I'm not someone who's going to be like, to not get to Omaha was the ultimate failure. And it's disappointing. You want to be in Omaha, especially that year. But I think there's so many things to take away from that season. I'm not knocking them at all. Fact of the matter is, especially when you're that good, the ultimate goal is to be the last team standing.
Mm-hmm.
The only win is to not lose your last game.
Yeah.
But they're still incredibly successful. I think that debate could have been had I wouldn't have sided with it, but I think it could have been had up until Monday night. Yeah. After Monday night, no questions asked.
Yeah, like I think it is like no matter how good you are, you come out and lay an egg for 2 games, you're done. Yeah. And look what can happen. So I think just that blueprint of what can happen if you aren't mentally there for even an at bat or whatever can be the difference in you winning it or not. I mean, that team should have won a national championship with what they had.
There are non-Tennessee people. I'm not, and it's not a lot of them. There are non-Tennessee people that still go, that 2022 team might have been one of the best teams in college baseball.
Yeah, 100%.
And they didn't win a national championship. And I won't argue that because I'm a championship guy. But the fact that they had it, I think tells you all you need to know about how good that team was. And the fact that people hold that opinion, and they probably don't anymore because you have this 2024 team that sets similar records and also won it all. They win in Hoover and then go win in Omaha.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing is like everybody was like, I don't want the 1 seed. I don't want the 1 seed. And this team was like, I mean, we're here. Let's just be the first one to do it since 99. Yeah. So yeah, it feels good. That parade was awesome. I think like it finally set in that like I am addicted to national championships. I think we should do this every year.
Every year. And I heard some people talking about like we're gonna have to move it if it's a football ever wins it. I'm like, no, you just see how many you just watch this place burn if football wins it. You put as many people here as you can and watch it burn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was fun. I mean, it's not a celebration unless people are fainting out in the crowd. So.
Exactly, yeah. That's a good thing about football is it would be a little bit cooler. I still have the over under at 4 people passing out, but it's a little bit cooler.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
Yeah.
The way I don't know what I expected.
I think
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was incredible.
It was. I was expecting more of like a kind of I was expecting kind of like a party thing. Like, I mean, and it kind of was, but it was very much just like them showing appreciation to the fans. It wasn't like, yeah, we celebrated them coming through, but like them up there on the stage, it was very much like I talked to Cal Stark earlier today about like he was getting pelted with hats while he was sitting on stage, and he signed every one of them.
I watched him because I was like, when's he gonna stop?
Yeah, and he didn't. So I mean, it was very much a celebration for everybody, not just for the players.
You're right.
I don't know. It exceeded my expectation. I thought it was going to be like there's going to be beers flowing, and there was a little bit of that, but
Shout out to
like
Blake Burke. Hell yeah, brother.
yeah. But it was more of just like, man, that was so cool, and just felt like a relief more than anything.
Honestly. And I mean, I'm not a big autograph guy. I'm not a big clap their hand, high five as you go by. There was just something that kind of came over me in the moment. It's like, I want to be a part of this. It looks like so much fun. I can feel the energy here.
It's like, where's my car? Where can I get in one?
Every time you kind of saw like people start leaning in, you started like, where are they? You knew they were coming, but you're like, where are they? What's going on? You see the first off the bagpipes. Shout out the bagpipe dudes.
And Tony Vitello.
And then the Tony came through early playing bagpipes. I was one of the few that noticed. Then you have the bus driver who's going freaking no hands down Gay Street with little kids running out in front of the bus. I'm like, brother, why? You had them fired up. They could have ticketed him. Then you see Tony come through, and Landon was with me, and everybody's throwing stuff at Tony, and people are passing babies to him, and I'm like, he comes by, and I realize he doesn't have anything to sign right when he's next to me, and I was like, one more. I was like, do it. Got the hat on. So yeah, I mean, like just the energy on Gay Street, the energy in downtown Knoxville, and then they pack like, I don't know, minimum 20,000 people into Market Square.
Yeah, you couldn't even move in Market Square.
You think sundown in the city was crazy, brother?
But shout out Joey getting us on the roof. That was awesome.
Joey Boots. He's not boots on the ground anymore. The boots on the roof.
Yeah.
That was fun. I'm glad I got to watch. I wouldn't have lasted all night down there. It was too hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just such a fun night. And I like what you said about it. It did feel like like, yes, fans appreciating them, celebrating them, but also to appreciate the fans back. I've never been a part of a victory parade. I've never been a part of a championship parade, but I've watched them. I've never seen so much like direct fan interaction where they're, like you said, signing autographs pretty much the entire time. Xander signs a baby. Tony Vitello literally signed. Well, I guess he did go for the shirt. He's a respectable man. He did sign over the shirt. But that man actually signed some titties. And I love that. And I told Landon and Xander, I'm going to pass this to you. I'll let it go to you. I didn't know if they'd be walking. If they were, I was going to let him sign somewhere on me and then get it tattooed. It feels appropriate for national championship. The offer, I was going to say parade only. The offer still stands. If you come in the studio, I will let you sign a preferably appropriate part of my body, and we'll get it signed. We'll get it tattooed. So the offer still stands. I'm sure you were jumping at that opportunity. I'm sure that sounds awesome to you. So
he's weird.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was really cool to be a part of. And like when we started this podcast, we didn't think. I mean, we were just hoping we would be somewhat decent and not just suck. And now we're national champions. Sorry. And it feels. I honestly don't really know what it feels like. It is relief.
Well, I know a lot of people and it's funny and it's fun to participate in. I've got receipts for this. I've got receipts. I cannot tell you how little I've cared about any other team, any other fans' opinions than I do right now. Say what you want. You know what? I'll say it again. Blake Burke went, and we don't care.
Yeah,
because we got the rings. I don't care. I just don't care about your opinion. Tennessee won a national championship. I mean, we can talk about it next year, I guess, but I don't care. Oh, Vanderbilt, you have 2? Fun. We won the last one. Nashville's orange this week. You heard Donde.
Yeah,
or the mayor. I don't remember who said that. I don't care. But someone said it, and suck it.
Yeah. We won it. We won the whole thing.
And I'm very, very, very fired up for John Wilkerson.
He's called some bad baseball teams.
He's called some bad games. But he's been a constant. He was doing it before they really did many games. There's a great article I believe Ryan Shumpert wrote it, kind of detailing his road there that had guys like Roger Hoover. I won't blank on his name. Titans guy, Mike
Keith.
Mike Keith was a part of that article. Great article. I believe it was by Ryan Shumpert. If it wasn't, I apologize, but shout out to Ryan Shumpert anyways.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. And yeah, his last call, it was what I love about it most is that I think a lot of guys would kind of script that. They're like, I know what I want to say when it comes.
Mm-hmm.
John's felt very, very much like I couldn't plan for this opportunity. Yeah. I'm going to say kind of what comes. And another thing he said, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it. You heard Tony Vitello talk about Pat Summitt this week.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that you got, I don't know if it was a nod to Pat. I doubt it was a nod to Pat, but Tennessee baseball reached the summit. I love that. I was like that. Talk about a championship coach who set a championship culture that's lasted. That was a cool part of that call that, again, I doubt was intentional.
Yeah.
But was cool to, I mean, obviously understand how the words can be
mm-hmm.
used in that scenario. But yeah, I mean, when you think of Tennessee winning national championships, you think of Pat Summitt.
Yeah, and I think what makes it so great is like the difficulty to win a national championship in baseball. I think it's the hardest one. With the amount of games that you have to play like back to back.
I think basketball is the hardest one only because the potential to be one off night.
Yeah.
That's my only thing.
Yeah, I just think like the upsets happen, but like you can be beat in baseball like any given night. Like
for sure.
I think just the grind of the entire thing is like you have to win a regional, you have to win a super. You basically have to do a regional and basically pool play for Omaha, and then you have to play another super in Omaha, and just like back to back, like it's just so much postseason. Like the entire postseason for baseball feels like another season
for sure. But I think part of what makes baseball just naturally more difficult is that I think there is a little bit more parity in the sense of like there's always 8 really good teams, and you don't necessarily always have that in basketball.
Yeah,
and so I think there's a little bit more like you always end up with really good teams.
Like if you get to Omaha, you've earned your way to Omaha.
But I mean, for this, and I think part of it is just these teams are really good this year. But for example, I think the 2 best teams all year were in the finals.
Yeah,
and by nature, you're saying, well, was it that hard? Yeah, of course you know how hard it was, but I think you did get the best 2. I mean, A&M was a 3 seed. I said, I'd rather have Kentucky, in this final series. I'd rather take the 2 seed if I get to choose. And I would rather, sure, seeing Florida would be fun, but I don't really want to find out that those bats, can hit in the final series. They finally decide to turn on or something.
I think that's why I think A&M was better, because I would rather, if it was going to happen, it didn't. If I was going to lose a series, I'd rather lose to that Texas A&M team than Kentucky or Florida.
But I just don't think you lose Kentucky in a series.
Probably not. At least
Florida,
that would have been awesome to beat them in the College World Series, but it was awesome to but have the chance to lose to them.
And also, I mean, A&M got a lot of new fans out of it too. A lot of blue Kentucky fans were A&M maroon for a weekend. That was nice.
Vanderbilt fans were Texas A&M fans. Yeah,
so it was good. Which I think a lot of people dog on. I think that's what makes rivalries fun. I tell you every Saturday I'm cheering for Tennessee and whoever's playing Bama.
Sure.
So it's what makes them fun. I feel like we've just this is fun because I feel like we've just tangented for however long we've been going now. And I love it. I just kind of reminiscing on this season, and it was very special, and glad we got to really watch it, and glad we have this podcast where we've gotten to dive into some moments. We've gotten to talk to players and throughout the season, and yeah, it's been a blast. I have a few things that we've kind of talked about that don't necessarily relate to this specific season. I want to talk to you about my restructuring of the NCAA basketball tournament at some point. I doubt we get to it tonight.
Okay.
But I have an idea. Secondly, I think we talked about this last night. Anything in football besides a national championship that you would trade for this, for a baseball national championship?
No.
We're on the same page. This isn't fun. We can't argue.
No. honestly, like as much fun as this season was, and like getting to go to so many games, it was really cool, kind of being up close and personal. But getting to kind of talk with players throughout the season and then find out how it played out at the end. I mean, we got to talk to two guys in Omaha and two guys that
Yeah, how was it in Omaha?
yeah. And so like I don't know if football could top it. I think like from a fan perspective,
A home playoff game.
oh,
I'm not trading for Natty. Don't don't
Yeah.
misconstrue that. I'm just saying that would also be a lot of fun.
yeah, winning a home playoff game would be
I think
awesome.
winning a home playoff game might be more fun than winning a national championship in LA.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, that's kind of what I like. Omaha is really cool. I'd also love for it to be like in Atlanta.
Yeah. I mean, I would listen. Can we just not get direct flights? Just
They need to start if Tennessee is going to be there every single year. They
Yeah.
need to start having I don't know, a charter bus or something to get all those people out there because it's going to keep happening. And I mean, we would have went huge debt this week if we would have went. You know, obviously didn't get to go and sucks, but I do want to take a little bit of credit for that. I think if we would have went, we definitely would have lost.
I am very, very impressed with the people who went on Monday. The cojones on those people
Mm-hmm.
to say forget everything.
People
I've
drove.
learned. Yeah, to say just forget everything you've ever learned in life as a Tennessee fan. I'm gonna go be there at this moment. Credit to you. I mean, I went to the Texas game, the Sweet 16 game. Sweet 16? No, round of 32.
Yep.
I went to the round of 32 game, and we almost lost. And I was never again. It's me. Like never again will I put Tennessee in this situation.
Predicament.
Yeah. So yeah, I credit to you all who did that Monday. If you went for the whole series, I feel a little bit differently, but if you went on Monday, just shout out. That's impressive. And you earned it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved every second of it. And like starting at the beginning of this season, losing that first game, like there was people who were just like, this team isn't like cut out. And then you lose your first SEC series, and it was the same thing. It was like, oh man, this team just like doesn't have the pitching.
To a team that literally does not bet on themselves.
Yeah,
I mean, does the opposite.
Yeah, and then you end up winning the whole thing, and yeah, your bats kind of got you there, but your pitching won. I mean, how intimidating is it to stand on the mound, being a tying run in a college World Series Game 3, and you have a guy on the mound that's literally smiling back at you?
Yeah, and then and then the final strikeout. I mean, Cal Stark had to make an incredible catch to end it. Yeah, he throws a nasty, I guess it was a slider in that situation that moves way off the plate.
I think Aaron Combs knew it was a strikeout before it even, like as soon as it left his hand, he's like, yeah,
he's
hitting that one.
Yeah. And he's going.
Yeah.
He's going on it. He thinks he has it. Yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean, bananas, dude. So much fun. And as much as I would have loved to be in Omaha, I will say, getting to watch it with friends and just a blast. And that's one thing. It's like I'd love to be at the game, but I'd also, I'd like to watch it with people. I'd like to experience that. So
I mean, it was like, me and my dad sit together at every game, and I mean, as soon as like that last strike happened, like my head just went down, and it was like, oh my god, like you went nuts, and I kind of did that after the fact, but then I just like walked up to my dad and we just hugged. And
we had opposites. You were calm, just kind of soaked it in, probably disbelief, then went nuts. I immediately, that strike went, which I was getting to the moment of like, oh my God, this is really happening, in the sense of like, we're going to lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
That happens, and I just lost it. And then I was like, oh my God, he just won a national. And I was just like staring at the TV, like, what is happening?
What do we do now?
Yeah, I'm like, there is no way this is real. So yeah, we just switched what we did.
Yeah.
While Landon was jumping in the pool, I had my hands on my head. If you just watch just me, you're probably like, someone kills his
Surrender
dog?
Cobra.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, what is this is not real.
Mhm.
This is not real life. I'm playing girl now. Like that. Check on him. He is not real.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just an awesome moment to kind of stand in front of the TV, hug dad, and he's a lot different than me, where he is like all the time, just like yelling, and and I'm a lot more calm, and I'm
he's
just
a classic baseball guy.
He's
Where you
like,
just kind of yell nonsense.
it's
while people
funny,
are
like
mad.
I'll say something, and it's like he's my voice. I'll just be like, "That's not a strike." He's like, "Come on, Blue!" Like he's my voice, even though like I don't like to have attention on myself or anything like that. So when I'm just like, "Yeah, that's not a strike," he'll be like, "Come on, Blue, get your head out of your ass."
Can't wait till he gets tossed from a game. Was it Aaron Boone that got tossed because of a fan this year?
Yes, yeah.
Tony V's gonna have some words for your dad when he gets him tossed.
Yeah,
one
he probably
game.
will.
Yeah, I was gonna say something. Oh, and then Raven videotaped it, which I didn't know she was doing in the moment, and I didn't know. It was dark. Didn't even know she was standing back there. If we had lost, she would have. I'd already decided if I was in the pool for the game, like if we lose this, I'm just gonna drown. I'm just gonna sink underwater and drown. So that would have been pretty gruesome to get on tape.
Mm-hmm.
Good content for you going forward.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to fill a complete show with just myself. So
you just play that tape if you need to.
Okay, yeah. Just be like, in remembrance of Caleb, here is how he passed away. So yeah, but you're here.
I'm here. I'm here because of Aaron Combs' psycho mentality.
And dude, every moment in Omaha that you're like, man, we need a hit. It was always Dylan Dropling.
It was Dylan. I wanted to play 2 more games because he gets you to 188.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, that dude's raking, and a lot of people are just like, what do we have coming back? Guys, we'll just reload. You just won a national championship, and I know guys in the portal have already committed, stuff like that. It'll be okay.
Yeah. And I know I've seen some people like talk about it, like, oh, what's coming back next year? I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, we just won a national
championship. I do not care. And I trust Tony.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'll worry about it when it's time to worry about it.
Yeah.
I trust Tony.
Yeah. All is well. I mean, I don't know what AJ Russell looks like next year, coming off
I know. Kid's gonna be throwing 104.
Yeah. But do you see him in a starting role? I don't really know what that timetable looks like. Hunter Inslee could come back. Here's the thing: if they have a opportunity, and it's like, they could come back or they could leave. Maybe he does come back. I would just, if he comes back, gravy. If not, I mean, you just expect they're not coming back. Like Dylan Dreiling, Kavaris Tears, see ya. Appreciate
Thank you all.
Love you. But gone.
We get it. And I think there are some interesting scenarios where it gets into that weird MLB draft where you're like, all right, what's the signing bonus? Where are they at? Because you do have NIL.
Yeah.
That could impact it. So I think there are.
But an older guy, if they get drafted, they're
almost
gone.
Yeah, they're almost always gone. They're gone. I just think, you see it now with college players or high school players, excuse me, where if that signing bonus isn't big enough, well, do I want to go? Would I rather, ride a bus around the country or play SEC baseball? And now you factor in, I can also make money playing SEC. Sure, it's not much, but like I can make some coin. So I think that gets interesting. I'm not saying that for any of the 3 guys we just named. I'm just saying there are some interesting scenarios at play.
It helps in recruiting. High school kids, like trying to get them out of the draft. That helps. But in terms of like a junior wanting to come back for his final year, if you get drafted, you're gone. Yeah. That's the nature of it. And
part of it is too, is like unfortunately, we are all getting older. And you have a time clock, and you're going to start out.
And it's your dream. Your dream is somewhat of your dream is probably playing college baseball, but your ultimate dream is playing professional baseball. And I mean, you're going to say, no, I just want to, and maybe some do, maybe some kids want to do that, but I just think they're few and far between. And I think with the talent pool Tennessee's got coming in every single year now with Tony Vitello, that, I mean, you're just happy you got him for 2 or 3 years. And
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Tony's developing these dudes to play in the big leagues. Like he's not developing them to be 4-year guys at Tennessee. It's just not his goal.
And if it happens and it works out like Xander Sechrist and
there's always
Kirby,
going to be 4-year guys.
Yeah,
it's just the nature of the business.
Yeah,
but that's not the goal for everyone specifically. But I mean,
yeah, and guys want to come here and be drafted. Whereas like, I mean, that one guy said Kavaris Tears will never play at Tennessee because he can't bunt. That's what he told his mom. And look at him now.
Who told him that?
It was like a travel ball coach told him that. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that guy's coaching baseball. What a moron.
Another kind of like, I guess, shout out to give to, and I think a lot of people like to hate on former coaches, guys that weren't successful for a variety. There's so many reasons that you could not be successful, but I think a guy who just the timing wasn't right. There were some things that he'll tell you this, and I want to have him on the show eventually. But Dave Serrano, I mean, when you just look at the team that Tony Vitello inherited, he had some pieces there.
Yeah,
he had some pieces, and I mean, you look at his resume. He's had plenty of success. He's played in Omaha. Does he have one as a head coach? I know he does as an assistant. A national championship.
Did he win with Cal State Fullerton?
So he won as an assistant, and that's a fun story. So I want to get him on. I'd love to talk just ball with him. He's at Johnson University now. That reminded me. If you get a chance, go listen to. It's Ben McKee, Will Heflin, and Wes Rucker. They interviewed him right before SEC tournament play, and it's a great interview. It's about now. It's a good long one, and he kind of dives into a bunch of stuff. But I listened to it the other day just to kind of hear his thoughts, and he talks about his son, obviously, who's over at first base, and his time at Tennessee. And but I think that's a guy that, while he wasn't necessarily a key foundation piece, I think he was a great person for Tony Vitello to follow. I think Vitello's in a different situation if it's a guy like Raleigh. God. Serrano obviously didn't have the impact that Tony Vitello's had, but he had a bigger impact than I think most people realize.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's still around and still supports the team. I mean, I guess something has to do it, but I think he's
always, before he was on staff, he was already, he enjoyed keeping up for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you kind of had what he had and kind of got fired like that, I think you have to have some good relationships to even stay around here.
And he obviously has that history. He was here with 2 years, I think, with Delmonico. Went to Omaha, I think, one time as an assistant. And so he obviously had that before too. So I mean, I think that helps. It might have just been a year he was here, and I don't remember his specific role. I think it was before he was a pitching coach at Fullerton.
Yeah, it was 95, 96.
Okay, so that was an Omaha team.
Yep.
So yeah, you obviously have that, but yeah, you were talking about the development. I guess I don't want to spoil that podcast, but his kind of take on his role at Johnson's pretty interesting. We can talk about it later. I don't want to just steal Ben and Wes's and Dave's content here.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting, so I think everybody should go give that a listen as well.
Yeah, just awesome to be a part of this program. Awesome to see them get over the hump, win the whole thing, and now it's kind of turn the page, and let's
go do it again. Why not, man?
Yeah. Now the first one's the hardest one. So
yeah.
Also, Dave Van Horn has not won a national championship, so just want to throw that out there a little.
Hogs.
Yeah.
And I've always said, by the way, I'm not a fan of the Oma name. If you're there, you can use it. I think too, when you win a national championship, you can use it at will until you no longer own the national championship.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't necessarily want it in the stadium, but if it was in the stadium this year, acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really want to post it everywhere, but
I think it's okay this year.
Yeah, wear the shirts and everything, but maybe don't have it behind home plate for next year when teams are coming in here.
You at least have to take it off for like regionals. Like once it gets to postseason, it has to be off if you put it on. But I think you can own it if you win a national championship. Personally,
yeah, that's kind of a target on your back if you're going to do it. Though.
Yeah, but you already got that target.
Yeah,
it's already there.
That's true.
It's already there. So I don't. It's one of those things. Again, I think if you win it, it's yours. You can use it how you like.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've If you never won it, you have no business. What are you doing?
Yeah.
We've kind of I guess we recapped the season, but kind of tangented. It was a fun one. I could talk about it for hours, but I guess we need to move on. I can't even see how long.
Yeah, just appreciate all the coaches, fans, players. That incredible year, and it was so fun. We should do it again next year.
I mean, they got Frank to smile.
Yeah, Frank was smiling. Josh Elander was just, lounged out in the back of a car. Tony came through first, and he was ear to ear. He might have loved it more than anybody yesterday or Tuesday.
It was so loud, I doubt he could, but I hope Josh Elander liked my shout out.
Oh yeah,
I hope he did. I made sure he knew that I knew that he's undefeated as head coach.
Yeah. And we told Xander just another midweek and kind of flexed at him a little bit.
Dude, him going just,
yeah.
I was like, yes.
Also him on the mound when he was like, come on.
Dude, really, we've seen him get into it some moments, but man, he was really
fired
feeling
up,
it.
dude.
He had the emotions in that game. Which I think I'm not saying you're not ready for that moment if you're not, but I think a little bit, you at least have to have a few of those in those games. Otherwise, I think, I don't know. It feels like you almost have to have those.
Yeah. There's no tomorrow kind of thing.
Yeah, just like when you get a guy swinging on a ball in the dirt.
Yeah.
Strike 3 in the inning. Like, I feel like, how can you not?
Oh yeah. Emotions just flowing over, and I don't know if it's adrenaline or what it was, but have you seen like Hunter Inslee walk since he got back?
Oh, I can't imagine.
Limping bad. And the fact that he was playing is insane. And it makes the slide even more impressive.
Yeah.
Like, he can barely walk, and he just like juked out the catcher.
And how can you blame the kid for going? We talked about it. You go back to LSU and coming off like, I don't know if it got to triple digits. It was close. Paul Skeen's performance.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have him in the bullpen just in case in game 3. I'm kind of looking around as game 3 is getting tight this year, and I'm thinking, wonder when Drew Beam's going to go tell Votella that he's heading to the bullpen. Like, I wonder when those guys, because I told you, I'm like, of course, I've never been there, never will be there. Yeah. But it's one of those things. It's like, sure, you have a career ahead of you, but like at some level, you're a competitor. You're in a national championship.
Yeah.
And I know, and I'm like the Stanford kid. I'll dog that coach with the best of them for that. But I'm like, if a kid like that tells you he's going, how do you tell him no?
Yeah.
And you do got to be the adult in the room at some points. And I think Stanford's a little bit different because they didn't play for a national championship. You got the national championship on the line. And a guy like Drew Beam, which I don't think it never came to this, thankfully. That bullpen's pretty good. Didn't need it. But Drew Beam walks up to you and he's like, I know I just pitched 70-something. Did he go to 80?
I think it was 70, 77 maybe.
He's like, I know I just pitched 70 times last night, but I'm going to warm up right now.
Yeah.
You're going to tell Drew Beam no?
No. And awesome for him, and, great family. And I think the kid probably needed a huge performance on a big stage like that to kind of go out on a high note, I guess is the right word. Probably one of the best to ever pitch at Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Drew Beam, just like from start to finish, came in, probably wasn't going to be a starter at all. And Blade Tidwell gets hurt, and he just ran with it since.
Yeah. Again, you weren't, who was going to, when Blade Tidwell came back, even if he was ready for a starter role, who's going to go take the ball from Drew Beam?
Yeah, you couldn't. Sorry, Chase Burns. Oops. Did he win a national championship?
I haven't seen yet. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know either. I didn't see him at the parade. Weird. Anyway, yeah, just super happy for those guys, and glad we got it home. We're national championships. National championships. We are the national championship, baby. We're the standard.
Yeah. Baseball goes through Knoxville.
We are the standard.
Shout out to Randy Boyd.
That feels good. We are. In the shirt. All right, let's get into something else.
Have you ever read the lyrics to Texas A&M's like fight song thing they've got?
No.
You should, just to understand even more how weird they are. That little like, swaying thing they do.
Yeah. I kind of.
No, because you can't understand what they're saying.
Yeah. Well,
You
that's
need
kind of
to-
like, I don't understand what's going on. I feel like if I do, it'll just make it worse. And
It does. I think that kind of nice though to think of it as worse.
Okay.
I think. I don't know.
I mean, let's talk about that for a second. To just berate a reporter for asking you the question about the Texas job, and dude,
Which
oh my god,
I'm with Texas fans who are defending him in the sense of like, what do you say in that moment? Well, let me tell you. You do the natural coach speak. Hey, I love Texas A&M. Took this job here to be here. I understand you have to ask that question, but that's all I'm going to tell you. Tonight's about these kids on stage, like right here next to me.
Sure.
I love them with this season, but we're not going to talk about that. I love Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to quote unquote lie,
yeah.
But then to go out and yell at a reporter, tell me selfish for asking a question. Again, I've said this multiple times. Everyone gets on to journalists for asking dumb questions, and I'm not saying there are not dumb questions because there are plenty. See Blake Toppmeyer in any presser, but there are questions that you have to ask in a presser. Like if you walk out of there and you don't ask no one asks certain questions, you automatically forfeit a right to get an answer out of a coach. And I mean, if he took that job the next day and no one asked that question, people would be looking around thinking no one had any inkling he was going to do this. No one had any idea. No one read the rumors. And I don't think and that's another thing. Schlossnagle was like, oh, you're just reading the rumors online. No, they had somebody at Texas tell them. They're not going to read a rumor on Reddit and go, hey, coach, can you confirm or deny this?
Yeah, and then there was rumors about him recruiting.
And maybe, I mean, that's coming from people with some kind of connection. So not saying it's true, but like there is some potential for that to be valid. The crazy part I don't believe is that he was using a burner phone. I'm thinking is maybe just his non-school issued phone.
Okay, yeah.
Because surely coaches have gotten smart by now after the John Curry, all that.
Oh, I was thinking Hugh Freeze.
That too. I mean, surely they know, hey, I'll pay for a $50 a month phone plan for myself to use.
Yeah.
Surely.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah, just a wild story, and I can't wait to see kind of what comes of it. But, I mean, all those guys that jumping in the portal, I really hope, like...
What's the rule? I've seen some tampering, though. They're tampering. What's the rule if Schlossnagle's still employed by Texas A&M? Can you recruit against yourself at that point? Can you say, hey, go to Texas, trust me? What's the rule there?
I don't know. I don't know what the rule is, but I mean,
they hadn't signed a contract.
Yeah, that we know of.
That'd be hilarious. There's no way. I also like the idea of somebody being like, yeah, as soon as he landed, I drove down because it came out at like 4 p.m. They landed at noon. It came out like 4 p.m., maybe earlier that he was leaving. He says it wasn't official till 7. Okay. I like the idea of a guy telling the world, like he believes it, that he showed up at his friend's house and convinced him to leave a job he just played for a national championship for in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, hell no. Like you knew about this for
unless
weeks.
you walked in with $10 million cash, it probably didn't happen.
And here's the thing that I want to point out: like Texas, you wanted your guy, you went and got him. Like I can't blame. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is so crappy about Texas for doing that." They went and paid a lot of money for the guy that they thought could get them over the hump.
Have we heard contract details?
I know his buyout's $3 million, which is insane for a college baseball coach.
Yeah, it's crazy it's still happening in the era of NIL, but those contracts will just keep.
Yep.
Blow it up.
Yep. That's insane. I can't wait to see kind of what comes of it. Also, any Texas A&M player that thinks Tennessee is the right fit for them, I'll welcome them with open arms. Especially Jace Laviolette and Gavin Krahovac. Both those guys. You're welcome.
Yeah,
you
can
come on the show. Like we'll have you on tomorrow if you want to announce your commitment to Tennessee. That'd be good. That'd be dope. Also, Tennessee landed some recruits in football, still recruiting.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Heupel was in Omaha, but I mean, still landing guys all over the country. Douglas Utu was the first guy, the 4-star offensive lineman out of Vegas, Bishop Gorman High School. The last Tennessee player or last guy that Tennessee got from Bishop Gorman, pretty good. I don't know if you know his name, Cedric Tillman. Pretty solid, but On3 has him ranked the number 54 player in the country, number 2 player in the state of Nevada, 6'4", 315. That's pretty. 315 as a interior offensive lineman is pretty hefty. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, we don't get the big ones now. Like, we don't have to put any weight on them. Just, we'll just tone them up a little bit.
All the people saying that offensive linemen don't want to play in the system got that big. They're looking a little dumb today.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you landed Trey Poteet this week. Cornerback out of the state of Wisconsin, which is, we mentioned Josh Heupel's in Omaha, lands a kid from Nevada and Wisconsin.
But he's always recruiting.
Pretty solid. Number 4 player in the state of Wisconsin, 6 foot, 175 pounds, 3-star. I think he's, kind of around that 3-4-star range, whatever. But the fact that, Luke Fickle's at Wisconsin, for him to just go in and kind of get the number 4 player out of that state, it's pretty wild to me.
Yeah. I think they're all getting better at this thing.
Yeah.
And I still think Rodney Garner's probably a big part of that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but to go and get some, defensive back is where Tennessee has had issues, and kind of go grab one out of Verona, Wisconsin, it's pretty wild. But
we're getting ready for that home playoff game. A little winter weather.
Okay, yeah, got to be prepared for it. But yeah, Tennessee landed both of those, so they've landed, I think, 5 guys in like the last week. Pretty solid. I'll take it.
Can't complain.
Yeah, we'll see what else kind of recruiting news down the pipe. I think you got Deshaun Brame will make his decision, the 4-star tight end between Tennessee and Oregon on Saturday. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay.
And just some more. We'll have some recruiting, because then you get to cheer these guys on for 4 years after they get here. So pretty sick.
Hopefully just 3. I don't want them to be that
good. Yeah. You want them to be like real good. We're 3, and if we have any more, like, you could get wild.
Yeah, hopefully no more COVID years.
Yeah.
God. Some other news, I guess, of guys going to other teams. Dalton Connect, Laker. It's official.
Laker.
Playing with the James. He's pretty much just on like LeBron James' AAU team at this
point. Yeah. Which is cool, because like
LeBron hired a guy he liked that probably isn't good at coaching.
Yeah.
But he likes him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, yeah, my little brother / son will play as well.
I know like JJ Redick's a Duke player, but like in terms of like being a shooter, not a lot better than JJ Redick was at shooting the basketball. And so Dalton Connect coming in, I think he could learn a lot from JJ and also LeBron and AD. And, I think it would be weird for the Lakers to draft a 19. I know they got Bronny today, but I think it'd be weird for them to draft some random 19-year-old out of France that, like, they need to win now.
Right.
It's not like you're rebuilding. Like, LeBron is, 39 years old? Like, they need to win now. So I love the fact that, I hate that Dalton Connect dropped, but I love the fact that he dropped to a team that is actually, like, competitive and wanting to win now. Whereas, like, you go to the Kings, like, cool. Like, he is 23 years old and going to the Kings where, yeah, he might be pretty good, but they also, like, aren't that competitive. Yeah. Or the Wizards, they kept trading. I was like, God, please do not go to the freaking Wizards. They're the worst team in the NBA. And now I got to go buy Wizards jersey. So I'm cool.
There are some cool Wizards jerseys. Now Lakers over Wizards, sure, but
Yeah.
there are some the Washington Bullets jersey. Love that jersey.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. Too bad they're going to win like 10 games this year. So whatever.
That's exciting. I mean, obviously premier franchise in sports. Period. So that's cool.
How does everybody have him in the top 10 scouting wise, and he just drops like
JJ Redick already doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah, like Portland Trailblazers had him for like 2 workouts, and they had 2 picks like before he went and didn't pick.
I feel like there wasn't a ton of it said until yesterday. I mean, it was mentioned. Obviously, it's going to be mentioned, but I feel like there wasn't a ton of how much older he is than most guys until yesterday. So I don't know how much that played into it, but that did get a ton of mentions.
Yeah,
as it led up to it.
Yeah. And that was the only reason. Like, if he was 19 years old, he's probably the number 1 pick.
Right.
But whatever. Yeah. Went to a good.
We don't care.
Yeah. Went to a good franchise. It stinks that we got to go all the way to LA to see him play a home game. But hey, we'll catch him when he's on the East Coast somewhere. And tickets will be a little cheaper.
LeBron will probably be load managing. So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right. I'm gonna tell you guys about some good friends before we get to. Do we have any questions?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay. Before we get to stupidity, I'm gonna tell you guys about our friends at Grade A Grounds. Guys, Grade A Grounds. They're a local coffee roasting company based out of Kingsport, Tennessee. They're all over the Tri-Cities, getting down here to good old Knoxville. They're owned and operated by 2 educators, both Billy and Kurt, teachers in the Johnson City area. Obviously, they love coffee if you know teachers. They also love supporting their community and students. They make great coffee, but also that coffee they sell to you, 5% of all their sales are going to a nonprofit organization that supports students all over the Tri-Cities called Coalition for Kids. That money goes directly towards keeping a classroom at Coalition for Kids stocked with the necessary supplies needed for students. We're really fired up to partner with them. You guys are going to hear about more about them on Sunday. I'm fired up for that. Go check them out at gradeagrounds.com. You can use promo code GOVOLS, capital G, capital V, for 10% off. So make sure you go do that right now. gradeagrounds.com. Check them out, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Go buy a bag of coffee today. Grade A Grounds.
Do it. All right, let's get to some most important, or not most important, stupidity. Sorry.
I think I've just got EA Sports. And really, the Tennessee thing was dumb. I think the dumber one is the Colorado being ranked so high. That's hilarious.
Yeah, what's Colorado 10 or 8?
I don't remember what they are.
I have it right here. They are 8th. So dumb. I mean, Miami's 7th.
Yeah.
Clemson's 87. They were horrible on offense.
What is Tennessee? Did we see it?
No, they're just not in the top.
Just not in the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is below what, 84? What was it?
83.
83.
USC is 83. Virginia Tech, Oklahoma.
So they're below 83. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the number 1 quarterback in the country.
Speed doesn't
2 years ago. Yeah. Don't understand it, but whatever.
I guess I'm going to be creating a lot of players.
Yeah, I guess so. Or you just score a lot of points and then you get, I don't know if the coaching tree thing is still there, but we'll see. Yeah, it's just wild. I do have kind of Colorado's offense from last year.
Okay.
So 363.6 yards per game. That was 82nd in the nation.
Solid.
5.24 yards per play. That was 99th in the nation.
They must play in a tough conference.
Yeah. 28.2 points per game. That was 60th in the country. 51 plays of 20-plus yards. That was 85th in the country. And 39.08% on third down. That was 64th.
So not out of the top 100.
No.
That's good.
Yeah. It must be good to be 8th in the country. That's got to add up to 8th. God.
And that's and then they leave out Nealon in the top 10 toughest play. I mean, just absolutely comical.
Yeah. And like defense, people are like, Tennessee should be in defense. I don't really care about that. But if you watch Tennessee's offense and you don't think they're in the top 25, I think you I don't think you deserve to breathe air.
And then the hilarious part, the oxymoron that is all of this moment is that all we've heard is about Josh Heupel's game offense being a video game offense. Turns out not, apparently.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I'll still play the game, unfortunately.
I'm just looking on my phone. This isn't a stupidity, but like all the former players, like talking about Tony Vitello.
Love it.
And just like how great of a worker he is. I mean, the ultimate stupidity this week is Greg McElroy. Not even, I wouldn't even say, if you're going to say the comment, stick by it. Don't do some half-ass apology and blame society and, I was going through some personal issues. What does that mean?
And then he also dropped a weird thing at the end that sounded like instead of apologizing for the comments, he was apologized for saying them publicly. It's like, I should have never said that publicly.
Yeah.
I don't think you should have ever said that at all.
Right. Yeah.
So I would like to say, and I'll let you take a stance. I'm not going to do this out of the podcast. Greg McElroy, I do not accept your apology on behalf of Tony Vitello. And Tony Vitello did not give me that power, but I'm going to take it.
Yeah. It was half-assed. He could have been like, I'm sorry. I did not know the whole situation. I just saw that and thought it was a little weird. And,
I was looking for a hot take. I wanted to talk out of my ass like I do every Saturday. And so I tried it, and it was bad.
Because, I mean, you had all these players. I mean, you could have waited like a day, and then you, like, that thought wouldn't even been in your mind because you see, like, how much these players care and how much he cares.
And how little Greg McElroy knows about this Tennessee baseball team. He thought that 2022 team played the national championship.
Yeah, he doesn't watch any college baseball whatsoever. He saw that one clip of him jumping in the stands. He's like, oh, Nick Saban would never do that.
Yeah.
He would break a hip.
It was comical. And I like Cole Kubelak a lot. I do. I wish he'd push back more on it. I don't think neither of them watched enough to know. So I think Cole's probably just kind of like, and Cole didn't really agree with him. I'm not saying that. I just wish he'd been like, what I don't like about it is a lot of the words from McElroy just there's no validity to any of them. None of them made sense. And I wish Cole had just been like, well, why do you think that?
Yeah, it was I guess like a tough day for content in college football.
That's true. That's a good point.
He was like, what can I do to, like, numbers are kind of low today. What do I do? And if you're just doing that, own it.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I was wrong, or that I had another problem I had with the apology is it didn't feel like I'm sorry I was wrong, or I'm sorry I was wrong for saying that. It felt like I'm sorry my day was tough and I took it out on someone else. And it was like, I don't know. It just felt like it felt like when you get caught doing something and you're telling.
You want me to play? I can play both if you want me to.
Yeah, let's listen to him, I guess.
I'd be appalled. I really would. I know he wins. He does. I just wish he didn't have the antics that he does. He's like a WWE character. It's embarrassing. Seriously. I mean, to be an adult, it's just. I'd be appalled. I really would. And I know he wins and he's great and the kids love him and all that stuff. That's awesome. But
sounds like the most important thing.
Of my organization, I would have to have a little talking to him. I just would. It's just, it's unbelievable. I mean, the guy and the team a couple of years ago, I think, lost the national championship, and they had the best team. I think that team was probably better than this team. And I think they lost it because they didn't harness their emotions. And it's great to lean into that. But man, just like I said, it's a tough team to root for. I mean, goodness gracious.
Which is fair.
Except that the game last night were embarrassing. Seriously.
Listen, just because he's a wrestling fan, I don't feel like we have to be mad at him about it. I mean, we know outside.
He just won a national championship. Some class. WWE, with all due respect, not class.
It's like Cole's really trying to get him out of this. Like, come on.
I think he let us know. Like, I mean, you talk about some of the greatest rivalries in the history of sports entertainment. He was a WWF guy. Yeah, he wasn't a WCW guy, which is fine. And Monday Night Wars were, I mean, that's a lot of rivalry. I mean, you had to pick sides there. And because not everybody had the 2 TVs, the picture-in-picture back in the day didn't do it. So I think we know exactly what's on now.
Seriously, could you imagine?
Seriously.
You say it jokingly. Like if Hugh Freeze did that after a game, like
He's the epitome of class.
Do you think
Yeah.
Bruce Pearl would ever do that? Yes.
No,
I can tell you Nick Saban. I can tell you Nick Saban.
He
Cole
threw-
didn't think Bruce Pearl would do that. What?
He literally
The man does that in the middle of games.
he knew Tennessee fans were going to run with this, so he tried to throw in, oh, here's 2 guys that they wouldn't think I'd like either from Auburn, and I'm just like, dude, what? In the? He's like, seriously.
I love that Cole was trying to get him out of it. He's like, this is not good. Let's just
Yeah.
laugh this off. No, and he had to get back into it. And that it's again, I think their emotions got the best of them.
He was like, I would be appalled. You don't back up a day later if you said I was appalled
And again,
by his behavior.
how does he think he knew this team won the national championship, and then he still thinks a team that didn't, that virtually had the same road,
Mhm.
it blows my mind how dumb he is.
Yeah, I
Blows
mean,
my mind. I
here's
don't apologize for anything I'm saying about you, Greg. Zero.
No.
And I won't.
no, because I don't go straight out of my ass to somebody without doing any kind of research whatsoever. I mean, I'm appalled.
We were appalled.
Seriously,
We were all appalled.
here's the half-ass apology.
I want to start by just apologizing to Tony Vitello and the Tennessee Volunteers. What took a shot at him yesterday, and it wasn't necessary. My frustrations about where we're at society boiled over. It's unnecessary. Yesterday should have been a day of celebration of what
We did.
Tennessee accomplished on
Yeah,
the
don't worry.
baseball field,
We don't need you.
as opposed to a streaming consciousness, basically diatribe about all the things that are bothering me right now in my personal life and all the things that are bothering me right now with where we're at in society. So, apologize to Tony Vitello, apologize to Tennessee fans, to Tennessee baseball program, and know that I'm as happy for you for bringing it home last night or 2 nights ago as anybody.
No, you're
that
not.
watched
And that's
Crimson Light
fine.
in their college experience. So happy for that, and it wasn't the right place or time. So I want to make sure everybody understands that I'm very, very sorry, and I will celebrate with you moving forward as opposed to being frustrated by little nitpicking moments that might have rubbed me the wrong way. So I really, really apologize. It wasn't right, and it won't happen again. I want to start by just
It wasn't the right time or place. Brother, there's not a right time and place for those comments. You were
Yeah.
just flat out wrong.
I love that he was. Yeah, the right place. I mean, that is the ultimate Alabama cop out if I ever heard one.
Yes. Wrong place, wrong time. For
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
The fact that he tries to tie all that up and say, I'm happy for you. No, and you shouldn't be. Greg, you shouldn't be. You're an Alabama fan. You should
Yeah.
not be. I am never happy for the University of Alabama when they win anything.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I hate them. I hate them. And you don't have to be happy for Tennessee. Don't have to be. But you're going to be held accountable when you say stupid shit that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And you should apologize when you do that. And you shouldn't say, I shouldn't have said it. You know, I shouldn't have done it like this. You shouldn't have done it.
Mhm.
Period. And Tony Vitello is a bigger man than me. He probably will just brush it off and won't care. But F him. I'll say it for not because Tony wants me to. Me and Ben, tight. He's on my hat. But F Greg McElroy.
Yeah.
And I thought that before now because he's an Alabama guy and I hate Alabama. I'm not going to pretend because I'm sucking up because I didn't like people tweeting at me. You can block people, by the way, Greg.
Yeah. Or
I
if
mean it.
It doesn't happen if you actually say something with some substance.
And I get, and listen, I get why people don't like Tennessee and don't like Tony Vitello. I get it. If I was not a fan of Tennessee, I would probably despise that team because you don't like when people do kind of the way they walk through it, especially when they win. Like when they beat you, you don't want a team to act that way. And that's not saying like after they win, they're rubbing it in and dancing on your grave. I don't mean that. But when you see a guy like Christian Moore tell the pitcher like, no, F you, I want that pitch in the zone where I can hit it. You don't want to get beaten and think about that moment.
Yeah.
But when you're on, and everyone will pretend, oh, I wouldn't like him if he was. Shut up. you would love him. You would love him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get why opposing fans. I get it. I get how the attitude gets to you. It wouldn't get to you if they weren't beating you. It wouldn't get to you. So I get it.
Yeah.
But to pretend that you wouldn't be cheering just as hard as we are for this team, you're a liar. You're a coward. You have zero backbone. Because I know, I've seen it. I've seen you do it. I've seen you defend Jermaine Burton, the guy that got beat that night, in fact.
Yeah.
I've seen you defend plenty of other players who haven't acted the right way on the court. I've seen you defend the Grayson Allens when he's on film trying to injure players.
Yeah.
So don't come at me with that crap. Don't do it.
He was like, I let the emotions get the best of me. Are you not supposed to be emotional after a national championship win?
Yeah.
Like, when you're supposed to have some class. Have some class. How about you do some damn research and know, like, as soon as you spoke about Tennessee in 2022 not winning it, all credibility of you talking about anything about college baseball went out the window. So you didn't have to apologize. Everybody knew you're full of shit.
Yeah. And I like what you said about have some class. Greg, you had Tony Vitello's acting emotionally. But what do? He threw ice up in the air.
Yeah.
He told Billy, this is our mother effing song now. He jumped in the fans to celebrate, or jumped in the stands to celebrate fans who had spent a lot of money and time and effort to be there. And again, I don't see the hate. I don't get that. I don't see what he did post game that you could hate. But throughout the year, I could get it. The way he kind of comes out of the dugout, he pisses you off, and he does it on purpose. Like he wants to fire his team up. He wants the other team to kind of hate you. But Greg, Tony ate the ice and jumped in the stands out of emotion. You got on a mic where you had time to think about it, and you still said the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah. And you think Tony Vitello cares about what anybody thinks of him? He does not.
And I don't think there's an apology to be accepted in this. There wasn't an apology there. It was just
why can't he say, like, sorry, like, I said something that was dumb
that I shouldn't have said?
Yeah. And move on. Don't say, like, I'll let the emotions get the best of me when I saw something I didn't like. What didn't you like?
It's not like he was like,
you didn't like that Tennessee won a national championship and Alabama was nowhere near.
Does he want me to believe that he was recording that while he watched Tony Vitello do that? You have plenty of time to think about that.
Also, I'm pretty sure, like, it's not like us. We don't really edit anything. They could edit that.
They could easily edit that out. But I saw some people saying, no, accept his apology and move on. It wasn't an apology. It was an excuse.
Yeah.
He said the words, I'm sorry, but I'm an adult enough to know when it's a half-ass apology. It doesn't mean sorry.
His long, drawn-out reason was a big old butt.
Yeah. He's saying sorry that you took it that way.
Yeah.
Sorry that you got your feelings hurt. Or sorry that you don't like me.
Yeah.
Sorry that you didn't like the words.
Sorry, I'm not going to subscribe to that podcast and understand why he was so mad at society that day.
And you can say, like, he just used the wrong words when he said wrong, that wasn't the right time or place for it. You can say that, but going back to, he can edit it. He could have recorded that again.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? That does sound half-assed. I should probably do that again.
Yeah. If he was like, well, I recorded it. It's out there now. Dumb. He is the stupidity that is wrong with the world that he has a problem with. And that is why he gets our stupidity as an epidemic award.
Yeah. You don't apologize unless you care what other people think about you. And that's why he apologized. Tony Vitello would never apologize for what he did after the national championship game.
Well, he didn't do anything wrong. He should apologize.
Yeah.
The only thing he did do wrong, he came out of the stands a little early.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just kidding, Tony. I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry. I actually mean that. You did great.
What a show, man. We're national champs.
I'm sorry.
We freaking did it, baby.
Say it again. We did it. No,
we're national champs. All right, guys. Thank y'all for listening, guys. Go check out Roback.com. Use promo code More Important Issues for 20% off your first purchase. They just got great quality clothes over there. I love everything I got from them. I've absolutely loved. So you should go check them out too. Use promo code More Important Issues for 20% off that first purchase. We're national champs. You got to fight.
We are Mercury.
For your right
Freddie Mercury.
to party. And we're partying, baby.
What is it? Just the blue clips.
That was awesome.
I hope he recorded more of it. And he's like, they didn't use anything I said.
Yeah, that was awesome to see. Again, like Greg, you should probably just like watch that and just be like, any kind of like conception I had of Tony Vitello is probably stupid. So I'm just going to keep it to myself. That would probably be best. More people should probably keep things to themselves.
Yeah, probably me too, but
yeah. I'm not going to go back and apologize. But guys, thank y'all for listening. Again, enjoy it. Love the ride. Let's do it again next year. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.